really awesome right that we have, because in other parts of the world they will shoot you on sight.
What?
Okay. Yeah, Tiananmen Square is a great example of not having the freedom of peaceful assembly. Most people only really know this Tank Man image, but there's a lot of images taken on that day of people dancing, they're just having a good time, they're just literally sitting in a square. And then the Chinese military pulls up with about 500 tanks, something like that. There's only 3 in that photo because it's zoomed in. But the zoomed out photo, there's like literally 100 tanks, right? And none of those citizens have weapons, right? This is not like an armed resistance. They're just students mostly. In Canada, allegedly, you have the freedom of association. What does that mean? You are allowed to associate or be related to, various organized groups, peoples, right, political parties. But that right was got very complicated in the aftermath of 9/11, right? So a lot of people were then put on trial and put on blast because of who they were associated with. So for example, let's say you were in some country, you were in a cafe, and at that same time, it was found out that some criminal terrorist organization person was in that same area, whatever it is. All of a sudden, all those people were profiled for that potential meeting, right? So freedom of association can be complicated, but it is one of your rights. Moving on to the 6 main charter rights, sections 3 to 23. You have your various democratic rights that has to do with voting. You have mobility rights until the government takes it away from you to move freely within the country. You also have legal rights, which we kind of went over previously in chapter 2. Right, but you're not allowed to. You have the right to be secure against unreasonable search and seizure. The police can't just show up and look through your stuff. If you keep turning around, I'm going to move you up here. Okay. You are not allowed to be detained, which is held by the police, or imprisoned without reasonable cause. So the police aren't allowed to say, hey, you fit the description, but we don't have the evidence yet. So we're just going to hold you in jail until we get the evidence. Okay. Again, they did that to a number of people during 9/11. There's a really good movie called, I think it's called The Mauritanian. It tells a very interesting story of this guy from Mauritania, which is, I believe it's an African country, kind of Africa, Middle East area. This poor guy, he gets a call one day. He's living in Germany. He's going to school there. He gets a call one day, I think it's some family relative, they want him to send some money, he thinks nothing of it. This is like maybe 2 or 3 years before 9/11. After 9/11, he's captured through a variety of means, and the American government says, hey, remember that phone call that you got asking for money? That was made from Osama bin Laden's satellite phone. Osama bin Laden doesn't just call any one person, okay? They probably tracked it and traced it, right? And then you can look at all the calls it made. For those of you who don't know, Osama bin Laden was one of 2 leaders of Al-Qaeda, which is a terrorist organization. Which Al-Qaeda then led to ISIS, which might be more palatable for you kids to understand. I don't think Al-Qaeda has been much of a threat in your lives. There's another one. Everyone has the right to a fair trial within a reasonable time. What do you think a reasonable time is, Hector?
So, with the scheduling, it's about 2 years.
No. Hold on. So they can't detain you for 2 to 3 years.
No.
Yeah. But the backlog is real bad right now.
So what they'll normally do is if you're not an ultra violent crime, so say if obviously if someone did a murder, then they're going to be held in jail for that period. But if someone is a drug dealer, they'll be put out on conditions, and they'll have to do these set of conditions and call their officer every night, and they have to be in their house, and then they'll go to trial, and if they get convicted, they'll go to jail.
Okay, so why is this important? So there's a case, this gentleman was, well, I shouldn't call him